Good day, class. So this is chapter 10 for our managerial accounting subject, and we are now on standard costing. Standard costing, a managerial control. So our objectives is by the end of this discussion, we will be able to do, first and foremost, tell how unit standards are set and why standard costing systems are adapted. Number two, state the purpose of a standard cost sheet. Describe the basic concepts and underlying variance analysis and explain when variances should be investigated. Number four, compute the material and labor variances and explain how they are used for control. Number five, calculate the variable and fixed overhead variances and give their definitions. Number six, appendix to prepare journal entries for materials and labor variances and show how to account for overhead variances. So the main topic here, class, no, is variances, but it involves no cost control. So cost control here, no, as stated here, cost control often means the difference between success and failure. So how do we control cost? Okay, so in controlling cost, no, we develop unit standards, okay, because it enhances control, okay. So to determine the unit standard cost for a particular input, okay, two decisions must be made. Okay, the two decisions, first and foremost, is the quantity decision, and then the next one is the pricing decision. So what is this quantity decision and pricing decision? Quantity and price decision. So when we say quantity decision, this is the amount of input that should be used per unit of output. Magkano ba yung gagamitin natin na input? Okay? In order for us to create this particular per unit of output. And pricing decision, the amount that should be paid for the quantity of input to be used, the price, and then the quantity decision produces quantity standards, and the pricing decision produces price standards. The unit standard cost can be computed by multiplying these two standards. So, okay, so the unit standard, no, that we have for each unit or each product, no, is quantity standard times price standard. So this information, we can find this in the cost sheet, but later on I'll explain. We'll show you. We'll see a sample of a cost sheet. So unit standards and development of standards. Unlike budgets which contain aggregate amounts of total revenue and total costs, quantity standards are developed by historical experience, engineering studies, input from operating personnel. Price standards are the joint responsibility of operations, purchasing, and personnel accounting. So yan yung basis usually, no, na for us when in establishing quantity standards, yan, by experience, okay, of the organization. So like ayan, this in this part, no, the organization or the firm is using historical data, okay, and also for historical experience, or using historical data based on the past, okay, past operations and engineering studies, no. This pertains all naman sa future, no, kung there are new studies or that are ongoing, okay. So that's our sort of like a basis that we have for creating our quantity standards. Price standards, of course, it's under the responsibility ng accounting, purchasing, and then operations. So types of standards, we have ideal standards and currently unattainable standards. So what is an ideal standard? So ideal standards demand maximum efficiency and can be achieved only if everything operates perfectly. Okay, so maximum efficiency, no, total walang mali sa ating operation. So that's why it's called ideal, no. It's not really the usual or what really happens in actual. But we also have here the currently attainable standards. So this can be achieved under efficiency operating conditions. Allowance is made for normal breakdowns, interruptions, less than perfect skill, and so on. So why standard costs are adopted? Standard costing system enhance planning and control and improve performance measurement. Standard costing systems facilitate product costing. In a standard costing system, costs are assigned to products using quantity and price standards for all three manufacturing costs: direct materials, direct labor, and overhead. Okay, so cost assignment approach. We have already discussed this in the past. We have three cost assignment approach, but the two of them no diniscuss na natin ngayon. So we are on standard costing. So in actual costing system, we have direct materials, direct labor, and overhead. All of them are actual. Normal costing system, actual, and then for overhead is budgeted. Standard costing system, everything is standard. But now, so tingnan natin. The standard costing advantages: greater capacity for control. So provides readily available unit cost information, simplifies cost assignment in both processes and job costing systems. Standard product costs. In manufacturing firms, standard costs are developed for direct materials, direct labor, and overhead. Using these costs, the standard cost per unit is computed. The standard cost sheet provides the production data needed to calculate the standard unit cost. So yung magiging basis natin dito, class, no? In standard costing is the standard cost sheet. So this is an example of a standard cost sheet. This is for materials, as you can see, no? Chips yung ano dito. So you can see the direct materials, the yellow corn, yan, cooking oil, lime. Pero ang pinaka-material dito is yung yellow corn eh. Kasi chips, no? So, and then the price is, we have here the standard price is 0.006 for that yellow corn. We have here the standard usage. No, when we say usage class, this also pertains to the quantity. Okay, so it means na itong 18 ounce dito, okay, in order for 1 unit, okay, of chips that to be produced, kasi chips yung ano natin eh, yung product natin dito. For 1 unit, we need 18 ounce of yellow corn. Okay, so at standard price 0.006. So standard usage is also called as a standard quantity. So we have here the standard cost. When you multiply this one, 18 times 0.006. Okay, so and then on this next page, we will find the standard cost sheet for the direct labor hours and overhead. You can see here, we have the inspectors and machine operators. Okay, the standard price 7 and 10. Standard usage in hours 0.007 hour. It means, class, that in order for us to produce 1 unit of chips, we need this amount of R. Ilan ba yan? 0.007. I think it's a matter of minutes. Okay, so medyo mabilis siguro yung operation nila, no? And then we also have here the overhead, okay, the variable overhead. We have the standard price and then the usage, and then a fixed overhead, okay? So in variance analysis, no, we can divide it into 3, okay? The materials, variance analysis, the direct labor, and then the manufacturing overhead, which is actually composed of variable overhead and fixed overhead. So before we proceed, class, now I'm going to present to you and show you a method, okay, that I do, okay, in order for me to easily, parang mas madaling maalala, okay, formulas for variance. But anyway, mamaya lang pala. I think there are still some theories here, okay, yet to be discussed. Well, in a short while, no, basahin lang na natin muna yung mga theories dito. So for example, in this organization, we are creating chips. Okay, and during the first week of March, okay, The firm produced 100,000 packages of corn chips. Oh, sarap naman yan. Nagutom tuloy ako bigla. Oh, corn chips. And then the standard quantity of yellow corn meal per package, kasi ito yung pinaka-direct natin na material eh. Diba? Yung mais dito, yellow corn. Okay? Is 18 ounces. We also saw this class in the standard cost sheet a while ago, no? 18 ounces is the standard quantity or standard usage per unit per package. Okay? So we can actually compute now, no? The standard quantity. So the standard quantity, okay, ilan yung na-produce natin, di ba? 100,000 units. So i-times natin yan dun sa ounce, 18 ounces, okay? We have here the standard quantity, okay, in ounces is 1,800,000. Okay? So ganun na. So and then standard hours allowed. We have here 0.008, a unit labor standard. Makita natin to sa standard cost sheet when it comes to direct labors. And then we have ito, actual output natin, yung mais, yung chips rather. So 80 direct labor hours. So we'll just leave it for now. We will, dito tayo. So we have here class two types of actually per in materials and direct labor. I think yung ganun din sa overhead, no? We have two main categories of variances. So the first one category is yung price variance. Okay, there is a difference between the actual and standard unit price of an input multiplied by the number of units used. So here's the formula: price variance is equals to actual price less standard price times actual quantity. Actual quantity yung gamit dito class na multiplier. Okay? Kasi ang actual quantity, yan talaga yung na-produce natin. No? So, eto, usage, dito naman tayo sa second. No? Usage variance, which is also called the quantity variance. Okay? Quantity variance ito kapag sa materials. Pag sa labor, usage variance na lang yung gamit. Pero for materials, no, quantity. So the usage quantity variance is called an efficiency variance as well. So usage efficiency of variance is the difference between the actual and standard quantity of inputs times standard price of the input. So ginamit natin dito class yung standard price, okay? No, for and then ang different, ayan, so actual quantity less standard quantity. So ganito siya present dito, but I would like to show you my own way, okay? My own technique of actually it's not really my exclusive technique, no. I got this from my teacher in the review. So Sir okay, from CPAR. So alam. But I still can remember it up to this point, no, even though it's been like almost 10 years ago. Anyway. So here's how we do it, class. Okay. Okay. And the formula here is it's called the AS formula. Ayan, AS formula. So what is the AS formula? So ilatag nyo lang dito yung quantity and then yung price. Okay. So lagay nyo lang gusto ko eh. Yan. And then yan next is S. Okay? So, ganito. Diba? Actual, standard. So, and then this, we have the quantity or efficiency, or efficiency or usage, yan. And then we have here the price or the rate variance. So, yan si AS formula. So, ano natin yan? Lagay natin dito. So, okay, actual quantity, actual price, okay? Actual quantity, standard price, standard quantity, standard price, okay? So for the materials class, okay, materials variance, okay, Quantity tsaka ano yan? Quantity, we have two types of variances, yung quantity variance and yung price variance. Okay? So, natin. Dito, so here, okay, actual quantity and actual price, actual quantity, and then standard price. Yan yung difference nila dito. Ang difference dito is yung price, di ba? Kasi ito pares yung quantity. And remember, no, actual quantity yung ginagamit natin, class, no, when we compute for the variance in price. So ito, okay, actual quantity, actual price, okay, actual quantity, standard price. This can also be translated into the formula actual quantity. So yung formula dyan, actual quantity times actual price less standard price. This is equal to your price variance. Okay? So, yung difference nito, price variance. Oh, what about this one? Dito naman sa area na to. Actual quantity, standard price. We have standard quantity, standard price. So, same yung standard price kasi yun naman talaga yung ginagamit natin. So, when we compute for that, pwede na tong standard price, okay, over actual quantity less standard price, and less standard quantity. This is equal to your usage or quantity variance. And okay, when you sum this up together, no, we have the total materials variance. Okay. Ngayon, gano'n rin yan sa direct labor. Okay? Sa direct labor, usage, ito yung tawag. Efficient usage, okay? And then price. And then ganun din, actual, then actual, standard, then standard. Okay? So, let's go back first, no? Present ko lang sa inyo. Taka lang, sige. Tapusin na nga natin. Isama na natin pati dun sa direct labor at saka sa overhead. Direct labor. Okay? When it comes to direct labor, okay, this one is actual hours. Then we have actual price. We have actual hours, standard price, and then we have standard hours and standard price. So here, pwede rin ang term dito pala is, if not price, it could be a rate. Okay, so you can find, you might, dapat pala rate pala ito. Hindi na to price, no? Pero pares lang naman sila ng essence, eh. So, actual rate, and then this one is standard rate, and this one is standard rate. Okay, so you can express this in formula. Okay, actual hours. So we have actual hours yan less actual rate minus standard rate. This is equal to your your price rate variance, or the equivalent to that sa materials is yung price. Pero here, rate variance yan. Okay? So what about this one? No? You can convert this into formula, no? Standard quantity, standard rate is equals to actual hours less standard hours. So this is what we call now as your usage variance. Mali, sorry. Efficiency variance. Actually pares din. Efficiency variance or usage variance. Pero more proper na. Pwede natin yung efficiency variance. Now, what about in overhead? Kasi we have two overhead, no? The first one is yung variable overhead. Okay. Pagdating naman sa overhead, Okay, we are still gonna use no usage. Usually to sa hours to usage or hours. Or hours to. Hours pala. But ito dapat hours din to. Okay. So we have also the rate here, no? For the variable overhead. And then still, no? And then parang ano, parang undin sa banga. Ano yun yung aswang sa banga. Anyway. So actual hours then now usually kasi sa usage din yan is hours din yung gamit dito. So lang. So dito sa actual same lang din actual and then standard rate sa R okay. So here, this is actually your rate variance. Okay, or spending variance pala ang tawag dito. Spending variance. And then this one is your efficiency variance overhead. Efficiency variance. I hope nasusundan yung class, no? Okay, na itong spending variance, ito yung this one, yung difference nito, and then yung efficiency variance, yung difference nito. Okay. So, sa fixed overhead naman tayo. Fixed overhead. Okay, sa fixed overhead, okay, we have the actual, tatlo yung titignan natin dito. The actual fixed overhead, okay, we have the budgeted fixed overhead, and we have the standard fixed overhead. Fixed overhead. So, this one, so this one is what we call spending variance. Okay, yung difference niyan. Yung difference naman dito, itong budget, difference ng actual sa budgeted and spending variance. Difference ng budgeted, fixed overhead, and standard. We have the volume variance. Okay. So, that's pretty much it about class. So, mamaya tingnan natin kung paano natin ito may apply sa ating problem solving illustration sa PowerPoint. Balik tayo dito. So ganun ko siya present class kasi I feel na na mas malinaw siya, no? Ano ko nga dito. Ilagay ko dito yung formula natin. Galing Excel. So this one, ganyan. Okay. So, ito yung sa materials natin. So, we have here the result, no? If the actual quantity, if the price variance, rather, no? Mas mataas yung actual price kaysa sa standard price, you have an unfavorable variance. Bakit? Kasi, syempre, nag-set ka ng standards when it comes to price. Tapos, mas mataas pala yung actual na price, no? When you had your actual production. So, ibig sabihin, mas malaki pala yung magagastos mo. So, kaya unfavorable yun. So, unfavorable yung variance. Baliktad naman kung halimbawa yung actual quantity, yung actual price dito is mas mababa kasi sa standard price. Favorable naman yun kasi nag-set ka ng mataas na standard price tapos mababa pala talaga yung price, so less cost. Okay, so favorable. So ito, unfavorable if the actual or ganun din pala class sa quantity, no? And then quantity or usage. So kapag mataas yung actual kaysa sa standard, it's unfavorable. Kapag mataas naman yung or mababa yung actual sa standard, it's favorable. Kasi ibig sabihin, less cost. Okay? It applies to both pricing and quantity. So unfavorable variances occur whenever actual prices or usage of inputs are greater than standard prices or usage. Favorable variances occur whenever the opposite occurs. So the decision to investigate how the managers determine whether variances are significant, how is the acceptable range established? The acceptable range is the standard plus or minus an allowable deviation. The top and bottom measures of the allowable range are called the control limits. The upper control limit is the standard plus the allowable deviation. And the lower control limit is the standard minus the allowable deviation. So for example, here in this illustration, we have a standard cost of 100,000, allowable deviation of plus minus of 10,000. So the standard cost, so plus minus dyan. So within the range, no, dagdagan mo ng 10,000, 110 yung upper limit. Yung lower limit naman is bawasan mo yung 100,000 ng 10,000. We have 90,000. So actual for this, no, actual cost for the 6 months presented here. Okay. In the plot, ganito siya, no? So, 10,000 yung standard, okay? Plus 10 of deviation dito. Dapat hanggang dito lang, so 110,000. And then, dapat hanggang dito lang din sa 90,000. So, hindi ka pwedeng bumaba or hindi ka pwedeng tumaas ng higit dyan and then, or bumaba within that range. Okay, so, variance analysis. Okay, ito na tayo. So, here's an example. Okay, materials and labor. We have here actual production, 48,500 bags of corn chips. Again, nagugutom ako sa corn chips class. No, parang naalala ko yung sweet corn. Sarap. Okay, actual cost of corn, 780,000 ounces of 0.0069 dollars times is equal to 5,382 dollars. Actual cost of inspection labor, 360 hours at $7.35 equals to $2,646, and we have here the actual cost and budgeted cost for the corn and then the inspection labor. So tingnan natin, no? So ang gagamitin natin dito pala, no? Mamaya pag tumingin tayo sa standard cost sheet is yung inspection labor. Okay, so we have here, no, the standard cost sheet, okay, for corn chips. And look at the yellow corn kasi ito yung pinaka-direct natin na material, no? And we have here the standard price, 0.006, standard usage, 18 ounce. We also have here the direct labor and overhead standard cost sheet, okay? May standard price, may standard usage. Tapos take note, yung kanina yung sa given natin, no, inspectors, okay? So 7 in 0.7, okay? So yung try natin class na gawin to dun sa Excel, okay? And then let's see if mag-arrive tayo ng same na ano na figures dito na nakalagay sa PowerPoint. Lang dito tayo. Okay. By using our formula, okay? And let's get the given. Screenshot ko muna class. Wait lang. Screenshot ko. Variance analysis for materials and labor. Okay, so i-ano din natin yung screenshot ko din yung standard cost sheet for the materials and for the labor. Okay, so unahin natin i-compute class yung materials variance. Okay, dito tayo. Come here, come here. Ganun. Ayaw niyo gumalaw. Dito ka, gumalaw ka. Ayan. Alright. So we have here the given. Okay. Actual production, 48,500 bags of corn chips. We have actual cost of corn, 780,000 ounces at 0.0069. Yeah. And yung actual cost of labor. And then we have here the standard cost sheet. Okay. So Unahin natin, no? Materials, variance. Yan. So, sabi ko nga sa inyo, ilatag niyo yung quantity, ilatag niyo yung price. Ay, bakit naligaw? Oh no, where are you? Where are you? I'm fine, thank you. I'm getting crazy, class. Bakit ganito to? Quantity and then yung price. Okay. So we have here, di ba, yung formula natin. As formula. Okay. All right. So now, ilatag na lang natin, no? So dito, lagyan natin dito ng space. So how much is the actual quantity, class? Okay. Ano daw? 780,000 na ounces, right? Actual quantity. How much is the actual price? 0.0069. Ilatag lang natin dito. 0.0069. Okay? You multiply this one. I hope nakaka-follow kayo, class, no? Kahit na hindi ko alam kung ano yun. Ayan. So, i-multiply nyo yung 780,000 times 0.0069. We have 5,382. Okay? And then, actual quantity ulit. How much is the actual quantity? 780 ulit. Copy lang natin, mga pre. Okay? And then, the standard price. Okay? How much is the standard price? O, saan tayo titingin? Hindi, of course, sa cost sheet. 0.006. Okay? 0.006. Okay? Then, you multiply this one. Okay? So, the difference here, no? The difference here, ilagyan natin ng space para ilagay natin siya sa gitna. The difference here of this one, 583 and 4680. Okay? That's 702. Mas mataas yung actual kaysa sa standard. Okay? Mas mataas yung actual kaysa sa standard, no? Kasi titingnan mo, class, no? Yung sa taas yung actual. Yung standard nasa mga pinakailalim eh. So, mas mataas ngayon yung actual sa standard. Is this favorable, class? No, this is unfavorable. Sabihin, nag-anticipate tayo ng expenses natin, no? Or budgeted, ang cost natin for this particular unit is this, ganito lang. Oh, almost ganito. Pero ito may actual quantity. So yung price, nag-anticipate tayo na yung actual price ay na yung price ng quantity na to is ganito lang, pero it turns out in actual mas malaki yung price. Okay? So mas nagastos tayo. So we have an unfavorable variance of 702. And this 702 unfavorable price variance. Price variance yan. Okay? O dito naman tayo. Okay? We have here, meron na tayo dito, 780, di ba? Ito kinagandahan ng as formula, class, no? Kasi, pag nalatag mo na ito lahat, no? Titingin, meron ng mga figures na computed. Like ito, meron ng 4680 dito. Di ba? So, dito na lang tayo titingin sa baba. Okay? So, how much is the standard quantity? The standard quantity, paano man natin makikita yung standard quantity? Unang-una, punta tayo sa cost sheet, di ba? Sa material. So, sabi dito, the standard usage for materials is 18 ounces. 18 ounces per unit of produce ng corn chips or per bag nito. 18 ounces yan ang kailangan. Ang tanong, ilan yung na-produce natin ng corn chips na bag? We have 48,500. Kaya i-multiply natin plus. Okay? So, you multiply yung 48,500 times yung 18 ounces. Okay? We have 873,000 standard quantity. Okay? And then multiplied by the standard price. Ito, meron given na yan, 0.06. So, okay na lang natin. No? So, and then you multiply this one. And then Magkano yung difference nito? O, actual minus yung standard. So, nag-negative nga, o. Okay? Mas mataas yung standard kasi sa actual. Okay? Ibig sabihin, no, when it comes to usage, no, when we anticipated, nag-anticipate tayo na ganito lang yung kailangan natin na quantity for this 48,500 bags. Pero in actual pala, mas less. Okay? Nakaproduce tayo ng 48,500 at a lesser quantity. So, that is favorable. Okay? So, favorable quantity variance. Favorable quantity variance.